Hey, Steady Steve with another amazing video on Ian's Ballads. Or is it? Or is it a video on Siege? I just watched an amazing video from Archer Spartan Gaming and Mr. Siege. And it's about Siege commanders. And to be honest, it's an amazing video. So I recommend you Google it. It's called "The Guy Who Broke Rise of Kingdoms Meta," and they're talking about Mr. Siege. Listen, I'm okay. I'm gonna give you the end bit at the beginning, but I don't want it to come across the wrong way because I actually learned quite a lot about Siege and how they've upgraded it. It doesn't suit my style of play because I like to go in and I like to just kind of I like to be in the midst of kicking booty. You know what I mean? But um, I think there is a definite I think there is a role for it potentially, and not for me, but I think there is a role and it's logical. And how we arrived at it. Hold on, so we'll join later. How we arrived at Siege was actually very interesting, and it was very much about being free to play. You know what I mean? And that is something that we can all understand. And I think, in summary, I did a video not too long ago. As long as you can fight behind the enemy lines, then you can just pick people off. And he was getting ridiculous amount of when he said kills, I'm guessing he means like severely wounded, because I think he said he got like 10 million kills. Or like, definitely must be severely, anyway, severely wounded at minimum. And I think that could help. You know what I mean? Depending on your playing style. I can see a lot of situations. The only reason why I'm not saying definitely it's going to be amazing is because I can see a lot of situations, but it just wouldn't be. But he did highlight that they are quicker. They're about as quick as Cav, which I didn't know. And he said they're also very tanky, and he flagged up one of the commanders, and indeed, very tanky. So I think it's about 7 or 8 seconds in order to erect the tower, in order to do the ranged, very wide ranged damage, as long as either you're in frenzy mode, and he said it better than me, but as long as you're in frenzy mode and you've either selected somebody to attack, or somebody in that team in your team has selected somebody to attack. And okay, which brings you back to what you already know. You need to be that ranged support for your team, and of course you're going to have amazing, trades, because obviously you're in the back and everybody else is in the front. So what's wrong with that? So it makes there is the potential to make it a very tactile piece of equipment, depending on your playing style and depending on how much money and depending on the situation. Because you know that one army, that one map I got a ZL and Herman Prime, by the way, here. I usually have my infantry, my Huan Yu and Scipio, but not today. You know that one map you can only send one army? And I did a video not too long ago when I was just showing that as long as you can stay behind enemy lines, then you can still pick up the free kills. Um, I'm guessing that's what he's talking about. I'm guessing that was what he was talking about. And also defending the flag, which is going to be in a similar principle, that, you know what I mean, as long as you can stay out of trouble, then you'll be fine. But he was also talking about one-on-one. He still was getting very good trades. Um, okay. So all that considered, right? So all that on board, all those kind of very positive points about Siege potentially. Um, can I use it on that map that I just mentioned before, where you can only send one army? Let's say that your hospital or your resources are low and your speed ups are low for that type of thing, which is what one of the things he mentioned potentially. But I think it's just a situation specific commander. But he was even talking about you can do the 5511 or 5515. You can aim towards. I've done a video showing you can't get it. I think it was yesterday, day before, but you know, you can't guarantee you're going to get 5515 or even 5115. I just can't. But nevertheless, if you don't even have to maximize it and you can do it for that tactical reason, then that's fine. And I think maybe everything else is probably about kind of, say, playing style, stroke, ego, and habits. For an old school kind of player like myself, Siege were never quick, but they are now. They were never tanky, but they are now. They never could survive on a 1-to-1, for what he said, and he says that they can now. Interesting, very interesting. So how do I feel about Siege? I'm going to stick to my plan A with Joan Prime and Belisarius Prime when it comes out, which is existing meta. They haven't got a civilization for Siege, which kind of might give a clue about how committed the developers are to Siege. May do, may not do. It's not complete garbage like what I was thinking for all this time, from what he says anyway. But I still don't see it on the map. Endgame, but maybe say Endgame is about the ego, ego peeps, which may or may not include myself, who like to go on the map with devastating power. And so I'm just looking at this. Why aren't they fighting? Is it just me, or has my internet gone down? I don't want to. We'll find out in a minute. That was strange, wasn't it? Anyway, yeah. So listen. Okay, so let me put it this way: would I use Siege for ranged combat and get lols from it if my battle outcomes, if my severely damaged troops on their side, obviously, that I'm inflicting, that would be lols. I don't know. Also, what I'm thinking now is, using those sovereign keys where you can pick up free commander shards. I could do that and just see how I get along with it. But would I use it? Would I use it? Again, if the stats come back the way that he was saying, potentially. But to get that kind of march speed to a level, he did have to invest quite a bit. But you get the bones to upgrade that material quite freely. In fact, I use those bones for the talent quest thing in KVK. Anyway, I'm really happy with that video, in as much as, the guy obviously knows what he's talking about. It's very well structured, and, he made the case for it. I'm still going to ponder whether I want to change my whole kind of battle style to incorporate it. But if I could do it on the cheap, then you never know. Never know. Really, what I'm thinking is, let somebody else take all the kills, all the damage at the front, and I'll just chill at the back, picking people off. I like the thought of that. But in every other situation, not so much, or most of the situations. Oh, I did highlight a situation where if you're just literally just behind the pass, maybe with that massive ranged area of damage, you can just pick people off. That's quite funny. And that might actually change like how they kind of approach battle a little bit. And there's always going to be somebody who just marches to the pass. I mean, I could do that now with a limited... I'm thinking it through. With my limited siege commanders, I could just see how far we can get with that. Anyway, it's a great video. Great video again. Congrats to Spartan Gaming and to the Monsieur Siege. Okay, let's finish off this. What is that called? This Flame Bender Fool, otherwise known as the final boss. Not to be confused with the rest of the variety. I do hope in the next battle, because there was only one KVK army that I've seen in the past KVKs, and that was within the last few days. I don't know if he persisted with it, he or she. I don't know if they persisted with it, but I will actually try taking them on 1-for-1 and just seeing how tanky they are. Because obviously infantry are meant to be tanky too. It's just getting past that enemy line to get to that siege tower. And if it was that easy, then you would never use the siege. But if you can hold your ground a little bit, then maybe you would. And that is another limitation, isn't it? You've just got to literally be able to hold your ground. Otherwise, you're just going to be picked off, surely. Even though he did say 1-on-1. Great video anyway. Thank you again to those content creators, Spartan Gaming and Mr. Siege. It's all love, and we all just want to improve our games, and it's definitely something to think about. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click on the icon. Click on subscribe. Absolutely free. That is Steve, and I'm out.